Jake's hands grip the steering wheel, his eyes heavy with fatigue as rain dances across the windshield. The world outside is blurred, shimmering with the lonely glow of headlights on slick pavement. Each mile feels longer than the last, and the weight of exhaustion settles over him like a blanket. Yet, as he rounds a quiet bend, a figure emerges in the darkness, a frail silhouette beside a broken-down car, illuminated by the trembling light. Something inside Jake stirs, a quiet urge that refuses to let him drive past. He slows, heart pounding, drawn by a simple truth. Sometimes, the smallest detours become the most important journeys. In that moment, the night holds its breath, waiting to see what kindness might awaken in the rain. Jake stands at the edge of his own exhaustion, the weight of a long day pressing down on him. Yet, as the rain grows heavier, he notices a figure struggling beneath the downpour, a quiet plea for help etched in the way they move. The world seems to pause, the storm amplifying the silence between them, making the loneliness more vivid. With a gentle resolve, Jake steps into the rain, letting go of his fatigue for a moment. His simple act of kindness pierces through the gloom, a small light in the darkness. In that instant, two lives intersect, bound by empathy and the courage to reach out. Sometimes, it's in the hardest moments that the most beautiful connections are born. In the hush of the evening, Jake's gentle gesture bridges the gap between two lives that might never have crossed. The elderly man's eyes, once clouded with worry, soften as he feels the warmth of being seen and cared for. In that fleeting moment, a silent understanding passes between them, a recognition of shared humanity. The darkness around them seems less daunting, illuminated by the quiet power of kindness. What began as a simple act becomes something deeper, echoing within both men long after the night has passed. Sometimes it is in these small, unexpected connections that we find ourselves transformed, reminded that compassion can change the course of a life. As the night settles into quiet, Jake sits in reflection, his heart softened by the gentle echoes of kindness. He understands now that it's often the smallest gestures, a smile, a helping hand, a word of comfort, that can ripple outward and touch lives in ways we may never fully see. In the hush of unexpected connection, something beautiful unfolds, reminding us that we are never truly alone. Kindness, he realizes, is not just an act, but a bridge that brings souls together. The story lingers, leaving behind a warmth that invites us all to look for the extraordinary in the ordinary. In these moments, we find hope, and in each other, we find home. The rain fell softly, painting the city in shimmering reflections. On this quiet evening, Jake's gaze was drawn to an elderly man standing alone beside a stalled car, his silhouette blurred by the gentle downpour. Something in the man's posture, a mix of worry and resignation, spoke to Jake's heart. Without hesitation, Jake stepped into the rain, his footsteps echoing the quiet promise of compassion. There was no fanfare, no expectation of thanks, just a simple act of kindness unfolding in the hush of the storm. In that moment, two strangers found connection, their lives briefly intertwined by empathy and the beauty of helping when no one else is watching. As the rain fell in quiet sheets, Jake knelt beside the old man's car, his hands steady despite the chill. He worked with care, each gesture a silent promise that kindness still matters. When the engine finally sputtered to life, the elderly man pressed Jake's hand in thanks, his eyes shining with gratitude. He refused any payment, insisting that Jake's compassion was more valuable than money. In that simple exchange, something unspoken passed between them, a reminder that generosity, given freely, can warm even the coldest day. Sometimes, the smallest acts carry the greatest weight, echoing far beyond the moment they're shared. As Jake guides the car through quiet streets, a gentle anticipation fills the air. The man's home, humble yet inviting, greets them with the soft glow of evening light. Inside, walls adorned with black and white photographs whisper stories of years gone by, moments of laughter, love, and loss, frozen in time. Jake senses the weight of history in every frame, each image a silent testament to a life well lived. The warmth of the house wraps around them, bridging the gap between strangers. In this simple act of kindness, Jake finds himself woven into the tapestry of another man's memories, reminded that every home holds a universe of stories waiting to be seen. As Jake carefully tidies the living room, his gaze falls upon a faded photograph perched on the mantel. The image is of a young soldier, eyes bright with hope, uniform crisp against the sepia tones of time. Something about the face tugs at Jake's memory, a flicker of familiarity that he can't quite place. He pauses, heart quietly beating in his chest, as the room seems to hush around him. In that moment, the distance between past and present narrows, and Jake senses the threads of connection weaving silently through their lives. Sometimes it's a single photograph that reminds us how deeply our stories intertwine, even when we least expect it. Jake sits quietly, letting the weight of this realization settle in his heart. He remembers the gentle smile from a stranger years ago, a simple gesture that lifted him on a dark day. Now, as he offers kindness to someone else, he sees the invisible threads connecting these moments across time. Acts of compassion, he understands, do not vanish. They ripple outward, touching lives in ways we may never witness. The warmth we give today might return to us, or to someone we love, years from now. In this gentle cycle, Jake finds hope. Kindness is never wasted. It becomes part of a legacy, echoing softly through generations, quietly shaping the world. In the quiet hush of an evening, an elderly man recalls a moment that shaped his soul. Amid the chaos of war, when hope seemed lost and pain pressed heavy, a stranger appeared, gentle hands lifting him from the ground, carrying him through danger to safety. He never learned the rescuer's name, never saw their face again. Yet, that single act of kindness became a lantern in the darkness, a memory that echoed through the years. The gratitude lingered, tender and unresolved, reminding him that even in the bleakest hours, humanity can shine through. Sometimes, it is the nameless gestures that leave the deepest mark, teaching us that compassion can outlast even the longest shadows. Jake's gaze lingers on the faded photograph, its edges softened by time. In the quiet hush of the moment, recognition blooms. He sees his father's eyes staring back, fierce yet gentle beneath a soldier's cap. The realization settles over him like a warm blanket, stitching together years and memories he never knew they shared. Suddenly, the distance between past and present dissolves, and Jake feels the pulse of a kindness that once shaped his father's life. It is an invisible thread, woven through generations, binding them not just by blood, but by the quiet grace of compassion. In this small discovery, Jake finds a new understanding, a silent legacy passed down, waiting to be seen. As the truth unfolds, Jake learns that the elderly man standing before him is the very person who once saved his father, years ago. Their lives, once strangers, are now forever linked by a single act of kindness, a moment that quietly shaped the paths they walked. In the hush that follows, neither needs to speak. The weight of gratitude and connection fills the space between them. It is a silent recognition, a gentle acknowledgement of how one compassionate choice can ripple through generations. The air feels softer, charged with the beauty of unexpected bonds. In this pause, they both sense that the world is held together by moments like these, moments that matter, quietly, deeply, and forever. In the hush of the evening, raindrops trace delicate patterns on the window, casting shimmering reflections across the room. The two men, worlds apart in age, yet united by a single act of compassion, share a silence that speaks louder than words. Gratitude lingers in the air, warm and tangible, as memories of kindness echo softly between them. Each gesture, each moment, becomes a thread in the tapestry of their lives, weaving together past and present. The golden light seems to hold their stories, illuminating the quiet beauty of connection. In this gentle pause, they realize that kindness, once given, never truly fades. It travels onward, touching hearts they may never know. As he reached out to help, He believed it was a simple act of kindness for someone he'd never met. Yet, beneath the surface, his gesture was a quiet thank you for a compassion that had touched his family generations ago. The threads of generosity, woven long before his own story began, had found their way back to him in this moment. It's a gentle reminder that the smallest acts of goodness can ripple through time, connecting lives in ways that defy explanation. We may never know the full reach of our kindness, but its echoes shape the world in tender, unseen ways. In these moments, we discover that every selfless act is part of a much larger story, one that continues to unfold, quietly, across lifetimes. Jake returns, week after week, to the quiet apartment where the elderly man waits. He brings small comforts, a cup of tea, a helping hand with chores, but most of all, he brings his presence. In the soft glow of afternoon light, they share stories, laughter, and sometimes silence. Each visit weaves another thread into the tapestry of their connection, gentle and unspoken. With every conversation, Jake learns that kindness is not just in grand gestures, but in the patient listening and the simple act of showing up. Their bond grows, rooted in warmth and understanding, reminding us how companionship can heal the spaces we thought were empty. In the quiet aftermath of the old man's passing, Jake discovers a worn pocket watch nestled beside a small handwritten note. The words, "Kindness finds its way home," linger in the air, gentle yet profound. As Jake turns the watch over in his palm, memories of shared laughter and quiet generosity flicker in his mind. The message feels like a gentle reminder, echoing through the silence, a testament to the power of simple compassion. In that moment, Jake understands that kindness is never truly lost. It circles back, touching hearts in ways we may never fully see. The old man's legacy lives on, not in grand gestures, but in the quiet ripple of everyday goodness. And as Jake steps forward, he carries the warmth of that truth with him, letting it shape the moments yet to come. As dusk settles, Jake sits quietly in his car, the gentle glow of the dashboard reflecting off the watch in his hand. He traces its face with his thumb, a soft smile blooming as memories of kindness linger in the air. Outside, a stranger stands by the roadside, uncertain and hopeful. Jake catches their wave, and without hesitation, he opens his door, inviting connection into the quiet evening. In this simple gesture, the cycle of compassion continues, one small act rippling outward, shaping lives in ways unseen. Sometimes, the most profound changes begin with a smile and an open door, reminding us that every moment holds the power to heal and unite. Kindness is more than a fleeting gesture. It is a living force, quietly weaving through the tapestry of our days. It moves from one heart to another, echoing across time in ways we may never fully witness. Like sunlight filtering through leaves, its warmth touches lives, often in moments so small they slip by unnoticed. Yet these gentle acts ripple outward, shaping destinies and healing wounds we cannot see. As we pause to reflect, we begin to understand that every simple kindness carries the potential to change a life, long after the moment has passed. In this soft glow of connection, we find the beauty of being human, each of us both giver and receiver, part of a story that continues to unfold. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, leaves behind an invisible thread, a gentle trace that weaves people together in ways we may never fully see. A smile exchanged on a weary morning, a door held open, a quiet word of encouragement. These moments linger, echoing softly in the hearts of those who receive them. Sometimes, a simple gesture can lift the weight of a heavy day or spark hope where there was none. The beauty lies in how these ripples spread, touching strangers and friends alike, creating a tapestry of connection that grows with each compassionate choice. In the quiet aftermath, we discover that kindness is never wasted. Its effects travel far beyond the moment, shaping lives and reminding us that we are never truly alone. There is a quiet magic in the moment we choose to see a stranger not as an unknown, but as a potential friend. When we open ourselves to connection, the world gently shifts, walls dissolve, and ordinary days become extraordinary. Sometimes a simple smile or a kind word can spark a bond that neither person ever expected. These unexpected relationships, born from compassion, remind us that every encounter holds the possibility of transformation. In reaching out, we not only change someone else's life, but we allow our own hearts to grow softer, braver, and more hopeful. The beauty lies in the ripple. One act of openness can echo far beyond what we can see, weaving new threads of humanity into the fabric of our days. As the story draws to a close, let us remember that every act of kindness we offer becomes part of a larger tapestry woven quietly, yet enduringly, through the lives of others. Kindness is never lost. It finds its way back, sometimes in the smallest gestures, sometimes in moments we least expect. It lingers in the warmth of a smile, the comfort of a gentle word, and the hope it inspires in hearts near and far. These moments matter, not just for those who receive them, but for all of us who are touched by their ripple. In this gentle continuity, we find belonging, connection, and the promise that kindness will always return. This is the heart of our story. These moments matter.